Hello out there in Rando Land. I'm Neon Tiger, and welcome to yet another match here in our Link to the Past Randomizer tournament for 2019, now stretching into 2020. But I am, of course, as I mentioned, Neon Tiger. I'm joined here by Mentos, man. How you doing, Mentos, my buddy?
I'm doing well. I woke up and got going for this because the first race was a very, very close one. You know, it was a tie, so
Right.
made an effort on here.
Right, so this is actually still game one between Buane and Jet. Your last game ended in a tie. Buane was 1 second ahead of Jet, so because of that, it's within our kind of our fuzzy area, I guess you could say, of like it could be close enough with the retiming and all that. So for the most part, we just consider it a tie, and we get to start over again. But it'll be interesting to see if we get another tie here in match 1B between these two. Now let's just talk very briefly about how they got here. Buane came in as number 4 seed in the bracket stage, advancing by a 2-0 over Ace0187, and Lin in round 2, a 2-1 there, while Jet 2-0'd both of their opponents, Shady Force and Trinex. So into the round of 16 now, and yeah, really good matchup between these two. If the tie didn't really indicate that this was going to be a good matchup, this is technically a 4 seed versus a 13, which really, I think in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter too much. Looking at it, it's like they're pretty evenly matched.
Yep, at this point, the start of the brackets alone, there was already a lot of parity after the qualifiers and the groups narrowed things down. By this point, everyone left is very, very good.
And both runners starting off, looks like here in the Sanctuary, gonna walk out, get that piece of heart out of the Sanctuary chest, and away we go.
Quick early map check. We got a pendant in Desert and a red crystal up at Hera with a regular crystal over at Eastern. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
That's not too bad to start with. And just to give people a little bit of info on this, the winner of this best of 3, almost not now best of 4 because they tied, but it'll be best of 3 anyways, is going to be facing against the winner of P-Train versus Yagamoth. So that's another good matchup there. So we're kind of getting to the point as we get close enough here that it's going to be very, very tense. And there's a glove hanging out in the mushroom spot, and just a big 20 on Lumberjack Ledge.
And Jet went up to Lumberjack, which gave him an extra tree pole. So after the 4 blue rupees from the next tree pole, he should be very close to having enough money to buy some bombs, but not quite there. And Buane doing a save and quit out after getting the Thieves' Hut, going to Link's house, and getting the mirror. That's not bad.
Well, it's a nice find to start with. Really just lacking the Moon Pearl and the Hammer for Dark World access early on. I don't know necessarily that it might be the first thing you want to hop into, but the mirror is going to help out here. We'll be able to do a block delete here at the I guess you call this like the swamp gate, like they call it that. I always forget what everyone else calls it, but just a piece of heart in there. It's gonna pull on the lever, free the water, and we'll get to see what is slightly soaked. Meanwhile, Jet is going down to Kakariko.
Yeah, he does not have bombs yet, which is unfortunate, but he's gonna hope to get some over here, jumping in the well first because it's a little bit quicker to go back to if you don't end up getting bombs when you need it.
He starts off with 10 arrows. Another piece of heart. More rupees. Full heart. And another full heart. Meanwhile, Buane going to do a Gina.
I like this by Buane. He used the power glove to get the bomb drop in front of Link's house and the rocks there. And then took that over here, trying to hope to get something that'll give him a little bit of money or bombs for Kakariko. Gets a sword instead.
Yeah, that's a nice find.
Very much so, and it could be, well, you get
Uh-oh.
another sword over
Miss
here.
Moon Pearl. There's some bombs. Antenna. Okay, well. Mentos, we know that there's a mirror, a Moon Pearl, and a Master Sword hanging out here. Kinda hope, I guess if you're playing this, you're kinda hoping not to find the lamp early, because it could be a yikes situation.
Yeah, pretty much. There's the other thing that the lamp would open up is Tower of Hera, which, you know, you're gonna want to go to. But the moment you see it, you're thinking, is this gonna be an Agassi?
Yep, and there's
Oh,
the
never
second
mind.
lift upgrade. Oh, hello. I guess we don't have to worry about it now.
So, I mean, it could still, in freak situations, be logically required, but at this level of play, you're not gonna see Aghanim required with Titan's Mitt and Moon Pearl.
Indeed, it's very quick Dark World access, by the way, that we know will be available at some point here.
Yep, and it's a little bit crazy when you get Dark World access that early because everything opens up so quick. You just kind of have to guess and hope it sticks.
I do have to say a nice thing though is the fairly healthy seed. We're getting a lot of heart pieces and full heart containers, so it won't be as hard going to Dark World early compared to say only having 3 hearts. And Sick Kid, of course, Jet grabbing a bottle of green goo, which means you can go talk to Sick Kid, and Sick Kid's got the red meringue.
Then another piece of heart in the tavern. So Kakariko was mostly pretty empty. We got a sword, we got a Moon Pearl, but out of all those checks, nothing else really of note. We're still broke on money, we still have no bombs left, and yeah.
Indeed, and shield hanging up on the library ledge there. And chat's asking, it looks like chat's already answered it, but chat asking why it's called the Kern jump. Because it's named after Kern, who is a Link to the Past and Randomizer runner who found the way to do the Kern jump.
He's done a lot of looking into various minor glitches and how they can be used over time, and that was one of the very useful ones he found versus a lot of the silly stuff that you could do in these freak situations, but they never really come up.
Okay, and Jet's about to go pick up that Titan's Mitt. Meanwhile, Buane looks like he's heading back to do Dark Cross in the dark. Probably gonna go check out these locations back here as well.
Yeah, might as well do Dark Cross while you got it.
Yeah, it's gonna. It does have bombs, so can go to the back. There's the magic cape.
And if you didn't have that Moon Pearl already, you would be worried getting Cape and 2 swords accessible early.
Right.
But no, we got Pearl.
Right, and Buane doesn't know that yet, but Buane will probably be a little bit happier. I assume going to Kakariko. I'm gonna do back check here. Probably gonna go to Kakariko after that, save and quit, and then back to Kakariko just to check these locations, and we'll find that Moon Pearl, and he'll be a little bit happier.
Yep, you never want to put off Back of Escape for too long, or you tend to end up forgetting about it, in my experience.
Just a bunch of money, though, and a key.
Money is kind of nice at this point, honestly. I mean, we're only 7 minutes in, yeah, but we've done a lot of the early game checks, and Jet is still at 54 rupees after getting Bottle Vendor. Buane hasn't done Bottle Vendors at 92. so he'll be broke afterwards. Like, money has not been easy to come by. Now, he's taking the walk up to Agina, which, given that he's already been over this way... Oh no, he's not. He's going up Death Mountain. Okay. So this is a little bit of a bold play, having not been to Kakariko yet, to run right up the mountain. Jet getting his 10 arrows out of Zelda's cell, mirroring back, also gonna go do Dark Cross while he's here. And we nab a bow from the old man, so the Death Mountain sequence break was pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad.
I am very amused by how hard Buane is avoiding Kakariko, but at the same time, it's where, like, major progression is at in the form of that pearl. That's 3 bombs on Hylia Island, so neither of them are ever going to get those. Although, in a way, it's kind of taunting that, you know, oh, you just bought bombs, and hey, you could have had free ones if you weren't here. You're visiting Sahasrara. He tells us the green pen is in the pod, so that's a dungeon that we're close to having what we need to clear. We just need a hammer.
Right. Hammer would make a lot of things more convenient as well as far as Dark World access. You'd have a couple more areas that you can get to rather easily instead of having to take the long way around.
And Jet's gonna go buy bombs and then head into the Dark World. There's no other reason he would have walked back to Kakariko than if he was going there. He will have a little bit to worry about with this, though, because he's got only 4 rupees, and the chess game costs 30, and the digging game costs 80, so he can't afford either of those at the moment. And we see our other 5-6 crystal down at Misery Mire, as well as our 3rd pendant up at Skull Woods. So, pretty reasonable crystal pendant layout. Unfortunate that, you know, the dungeons that you really hope are pendants are all crystals, but...
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer when you find that out, but you really can't control that. It's just kind of up to the seed generation to decide what it wants to do.
We've got some wildly divergent routing going on here. We have Buane with no Moon Pearl over in Eastern, while Jet with the Moon Pearl is checking out Skull Woods. It's perfectly similar.
Me and Jet not really finding anything I can tell hanging out in Skullwoods yet.
Yep, so far just dungeon items, pretty much. Buane, meanwhile, also getting basically nothing in Eastern. I'd assume he's gonna go to Kakariko next, but he might head down to Mini Moldorm Cave and Ice Rod Cave.
So one of the things too that we're getting to see here on Jet's side is one of the changes in V31. There's the big key, but that's no longer a guaranteed key for that chest there. With the way that the game is, the logic has changed. So that's and a hook shot showing up in the big chest. It's gonna be super helpful getting back across, and it's gonna open up a lot of stuff for Gem as well.
Yeah, that is a big find, and Gem did that sequence break up the mountain. If Jet does the same thing, he'll have all of East Death Mountain available as well.
Yeah, and that's a couple of extra checks in there. Plus being able, let's see, no, it doesn't have the. Yeah, it does have all of Eastern Death Mountain because you can go through the with the lift upgrade. You can go through the bottom chest there.
Yep,
and rock.
Yep. Jet checks the bumper ledge and finds the Cane of Samaria up there, so he's naturally going to go ahead and go grab that.
Might as well, and that makes the cape make sense as well for why it was where it was.
Now I'm going to head over and check the graveyard ledge as well, because, well, if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it?
Yeah, this is always something that's really good that you can do just as a runner is, or if you're just going through this even casually, being able to check off these hard to get to and hard to route in locations from the get-go. This is going to be a very nice efficient check from Jet, even if it's nothing.
And
if you were, go ahead.
I was going to say, Buane gets the first crystal of the match at about 1440, and a lot of money for Eastern. That was about it.
And Jet's finding half magic up in Graveyard Ledge. So that's fairly convenient, not needed, but it's a nice utility item to have. Save you a little bit of hassle in some of the later dungeons.
Very much so.
And I was about to mention there as well, the fewer little loose ends you have to go check later on when you're looking for a go mode item, the easier it becomes to kind of figure out where it's at. Question at anyone, anything at Dark Cross? The magic cape was at Dark Cross, so that is a required item. You needed to get the Cane of Samaria because we need that for Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, as well as possibly even Ganon's Tower should we need to go right side. And Buane is like,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Buane is like, what is a Kakariko?
He did make some pretty good use of blended bomb and swords attacks there on the mini Moldorms for a very, very bad mini Moldorm cave. Dear Lord.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think I've ever seen it where it's like a piece of heart and a bunch of rupees. Not even good rupees. Oh, that's an oof.
I guess it won't hurt that both these runners, decided, no, we don't need South Shore. We got other stuff to do.
Yeah, we can talk about this a little bit, Mentos, but it's almost both a blessing and a curse to get a bunch of stuff early that opens up access to locations. It's a blessing because it's less stuff you have to find, but you've got more places where things could be that you can access, and you probably are going to spend more time checking them versus a fairly linear seed.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of overworld glitches mode, and that's pretty much the story of that mode. Like, as soon as you start, you can just do everything in the light world, and then you get Moon Pearl and you can do everything in the dark world, and it's like, this is impossible to try to route conveniently. You just gotta do everything efficiently.
And some of these checks too, if you can't get them efficiently, they become incredibly painful to have to go through. As Jet now going to go ahead and explore East Death Mountain, so we'll get to see all of the wonderful things both on the Light World side and then I assume into the Dark World side that are available for acquisition. Oh, gonna do Dark World first. Okay, that makes sense. Do Dark World first, wrap around near to the Light World. But may even be a little bit quicker.
Yep. Buane, meanwhile, has finally decided I have to go to Kakariko, and is going to get his Moon Pearl and nothing else of note except for that Master Sword.
And yeah, we'll feel. Well, it'll be kind of funny here if he gets the Master Sword first. Will he feel really bad, and then gets the Moon Pearl and won't be like, okay, thank God, it's not. It's not there.
Just sitting there after you fold the sword, like, I'm gonna find the lamp here, aren't I? Oh, Moon Pearl!
Momentary bit of panic. Meanwhile, magic powder for Jet. Paradox Cave, a full heart, but not the Sanctuary heart. What else is in this chest? 300 rupees, 20 rupees, and the Bombos.
So Bombos could be required for T-Rock, Meyer, or at this point, Ice Palace. The powder is a fetch quest that we can do right now with the Titan's Mitt and the mirror available. See, chat's over here joking about doing Ice Palace, and I'm sitting here like, you know what, Ice Palace wouldn't be a terrible play. Do Mini Moldorm Cave right into ice. Go for it.
Indeed, and Buane's gonna find that Moon Pearl, so no, oh wait, no, Moon Pearl's not here, but, might be a momentary little bit of, oh gosh, do I have to do the thing?
Coming up here shortly, and Super Bunny Cave pretty empty for Jet, so moving right along to Hookshot Cave.
Gonna get a check here of the Turtle Rock requirement, and it will be, drumroll, Quake. So vanilla.
Here we go. Buane says, "Hey, Master Sword."
And then, hey, I'm fine.
And we find Blue Mail over in Hookshot Cave on Jet's side, along with absolutely nothing else of note.
No, just the other thing that was really convenient there was just the heart piece. That'll help out. Plus, the blue mail will definitely help out as well. And just a little bit of love up there. And Jet looks like gonna be making the journey over to Tower of Hera.
Yep, the unfortunate thing here is he is 100% orphaning the Spiral Cave, but
I think for now, probably gonna head back out on the way down.
definitely possible. And we do find item number 1 here in Hera very quickly. It is just a piece of heart, so going to move to the back and see if we're going to visit Tile Room or no. Not yet. The big key, so going to head upstairs this way and, you know, kill these hard hat beetles, walk around a little bit, and then hope to find an item instead of a small key up here.
Yeah, finding that second item will just let him know that he can go ahead and just clear the whole dungeon out, and or not clear the whole dungeon out, but go straight to Moldorm, kill it, and not have to clear the whole dungeon out. Yeah, I would suspect that probably we'll see a bomb jump here. Oh, ooh. And he fell in the bad hole too.
Feels bad, man. Now, one small advantage Buane is going to have here is when he gets up to Hera, he's got the Master Sword, so he's just going to spin Moldorm 3 times, whereas Jet is going to have to slash him 6 times and deal with his super speed phase that nobody really likes dealing with.
Yeah, so we're gonna get to see the intended fight from Jet side of things, and Buane will do the fast fight. And I did see it mentioned in chat, and I also saw it answered in chat, but for those wondering, Jet's got the hook shot. You can hook shot across. Why not do that? Oh, and small key. That's not what you wanted to see.
Well, see, if you use the hook shot to get across and you don't have boots, then you have to drop back down and walk back upstairs. And that's just slow.
Indeed. It's not entirely efficient.
Now, when you have hook shot and boots, then you got no excuse, even though that's a thing that I do all the time.
And 6 slashes here is Jet's gonna try to avoid being chucked into the board, so to speak. Or that basically just means being bumped off the edge there, or falling into the big hole in the center, which one time one of my co-coms called it the penalty box, and since I went with the hockey terminology, it's the penalty box. But yeah, because you fall down 2 flights of floors if you do that, and it's the puck net. So good news, Jet, you don't have to go to the basement. Bad news, you're not getting anything good.
I think that's the preferable option.
Yeah, I think that's more of just it's a time thing. It's much better just not to have to go down to the basement to tile room. And indeed, it looks like Jet is going to be that mirror out. Going to have to go to a dark world and then back to the light world. And nicely executed there to avoid that line of fireball. And yep, gonna have to go actually back again because it doesn't have the hammer, so you do need to mirror in the proper space. And now, there we go. Meanwhile, Buane picking up that half magic on Graveyard Ledge.
Now we embark on everyone's favorite, very slow journey through Spiral Cave. This is like the one location that is like not just, better with boots because boots are better, but better with boots because it's a lot less boring.
All that for a big 20.
So I'm interested to see if Jet's gonna head right over to Eastern with that bow. It kind of looks like it with the Link's House save and quit.
Yeah, I think Eastern's probably, since it's a crystal, it's probably a safe play. The dark rooms aren't too challenging either for most, I would say most, if not all of our top 64 runners here. On this, I actually kind of have a scale of like which dark rooms are the hardest that I always refer to internally. And there's the flute. Hang out in the brewery. And Village Outcasts.
That ain't a bad find.
Yeah, but the Eastern Palace dark rooms are generally pretty low on the difficulty scale, and the Cane of Burna.
Yeah, the back room of Eastern can get away from you if you don't get it right. But once you kind of know how to set it up consistently, it's just like, okay, this is straightforward.
Yep. It's the same setup every time. It just can be a little bit difficult, as you mentioned, Mentos, if it's something gets away from you. Meanwhile, Buane dipping into Thieves Town, finding the big key and chest number 1. Get to check these first 4 at the very least. Probably we'll see him go to the back and complete it as well. It is a crystal dungeon. No reason not to finish it up.
He may avoid the back due to lack of hammer, but
yeah. But there's always a chance that the small key is locked inside of the big chest anyways, so it's worth taking a shot. And so far, just the big piece of heart there. Or a little piece of heart. Here's the flippers. Nice find. Yeah, with what we've got so far, that Ice Palace play doesn't seem so bad once we get the hammer.
Hear me out. Hammer in Ice Palace.
That's the other option as well. It could certainly be hiding out there before you get to Gold Stair.
I had a rough time in my last couple tournament races. The game was mean to me, and so now I want to see it be mean to other people.
Indeed, I commentated one of those, so I know very much how mean it was to you. There were some mean seeds.
I'm usually on the side of, hope for nice seeds that are friendly to the runners, but that one hurt too. That series hurt too much. I want Groot.
Of course, we have our new flavor of Mentos here, bitter. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So we have gone through the slow part of Thieves Town, get a piece of heart. That's item number 3. So we got about a 50-50 chance if the item is in a big chest at this point.
Yeah, we'll have an idea if once we get downstairs to the blind chest, because we know that the small key can't be on blind himself. So that will mean that once we open up that blind, that maiden chest down there, we'll know exactly what's in the big chest as well. If it's key or an item.
Jack can take advantage of the hookshot here. No, he doesn't hookshot the telepathy tile, which makes me sad because I love seeing people realize to do that.
And guess what? Mentos, that small key was in the maiden cell chest. So 50-50, yeah, 50-50 toss-up at this point. I think between dungeon item or actual item. So we'll see once we get the drop-off blind here.
Yep, the note of things with the small key there, the hammer could be on blind. If it had been in the big chest, blind would have been hammer locked logically. So this does leave this open to being hammer as well.
Correct. And we're seeing Jet go through that back room now, the very difficult one that we talked about. See, he's trying to set up and executes perfectly, getting that right Igor. It's a map. Not what we wanted to see.
Yeah, so item left behind in the big chest feels bad, man. Jet took a second try through that dark room to get it right, which does show that it can get away from you and go bad, but he makes it through.
Of course, once you get through that, it's all smooth sailing from there. Especially for these runners, they'll have both of these two will have a fairly easy time getting through that digging game for Buane.
We've got the very, very vanilla Armos fight going on for Jet. Gonna do the same style of quick kill that Buane went for. He missed it by just a little bit on one Armos, and that throws it off enough to where you're not gonna get it.
Big 50 on Armos Knights and bombs at the digging game. Not going to see that. And let's see which direction Buane goes. Going to go up, which means Smith Chain.
Yep, you're gonna want to bring that purple chest along with you to go down the hype cave. No reason not to, really.
Yeah, that's a smart move. Buane has not been to Hera yet, no. And tooting the flute on the way over to release the geese.
Unfortunately, it's standing right in front of the blacksmith, who just kind of stands there and, runs in place while the flute's being played. Like, come on, man!
Or since it's a duck, can we say release the quackin'?
I have heard that one before, so I think you can.
awesome.
Yeah, so Buane going over to the right here. He's going to turn in the blacksmith. The question will be, does he mirror over to check that powder at... Or no, he doesn't have the powder yet. Never mind. That'll be a question when Buane gets there. Or when Jet gets there. I'm dumb. But yeah, fairly straightforward for Jet, for Buane. For Jet, he's gonna have that decision of leaving his Dark World portal behind for the powder, or just skipping the powder for now and hoping it's not important.
Yeah, it's a big 300 though for the Smith return. Unfortunately, if you do it in California, you get cash value.
Oh, he's not even grabbing the blacksmith and doing that in a row. Nope, he's just going straight to Magic Bad.
Very interesting decision here. Just a big 10 in Cave 45 / South of Grove Cave. And our curse for tonight is to have more arrows.
The pain.
And Stumpy's let us down once again. Just a piece of heart.
I see mention of, use the powder when you return the Smith, easy to keep the portal. No, you can't keep the portal if you don't have the hammer. If you want to do Magic Bat without hammer, you have to sacrifice your portal. Doing it with the Smith is one option. It honestly isn't hugely different between the two if you're going to do more of a Dark World loop.
Well, Buane's going to Hype Cave. Don't believe we've seen this yet, so this will be new intel for us. Big 20 to start with. There's some bombs. There's the lamp. Hello. 100 rupees. And the 20.
It may not seem like much to get that lamp, because, neither of these two need it, but it does put the bow in logic. Not much else, because we didn't really find anything else on Death Mountain, but the bow's in logic now.
Saying that the bug net's not in logic? Thank goodness.
Yeah, that's a pretty important one.
And only a big 20 there from the locksmith. And now a dip here over into probably in Desert Palace since Buane's got the mirror out. I assume we'll get a check of the Misery Mire Medallion as well as the Mire Shed here. Looks like it's Bombos.
It does, which Buane does not have yet, so he's thinking, oh great, I gotta find Bombos too.
A little bit of block deletion there for some hearts. 2 extra hearts for Buane now in the Mire Shed.
Going to mirror over to the desert area before heading up to Checkerboard Cave.
So Mentos, since we found a bunch of hearts and a piece of heart in the Mire Shed, does that make it a love shack?
I guess, maybe. So we get a map on the Torch of Desert, which means it's not Boots Log. Buane is going to be able to clear this out if he wants. It's a pendant. He might not want to, but he can.
Yeah, my work here is done because chat wants to kick me.
So we get the small key on the center chest of Desert. Gonna get the right side big key immediately. there are 2 items in this dungeon. We've got 3 locations left.
There's the compass. I think we'll see Buane go ahead. Just, mirror back there. Go check the right side, the left side big chest location here. Obviously, we've got the lamp, so we can complete it if we want to. Perhaps we might if there's a item on Lamola's. Might be worth going ahead and just completing it since already here. That is a big 20.
Yeah, I can see very good arguments for both completing Desert here and not. Looks like Buane is going the route of, I'm not going all the way to Lammo for 1 item.
Nope. It's gonna check Checkerwood Cave though.
Jet, meanwhile, coming up on the blind fight, going to orphan the item in the big chest of Thieves Town just the same as Buane did.
Ooh, there's the fire rod in Checkerboard Cave. That's gonna be that'll be helpful.
Yep, that lets them clear out Skull Woods if they want. They do still have 1 item there, although, again, it is a pendant, much like Desert. And we're gonna need it eventually for T-Rock, one way or the other.
Yep.
Blind is down for Jet. He gets the crystal number 3, taking a slight crystal advantage that is not going to last very long because Buane will be headed to Hera while he's up here on the mountain.
Great, and Buane's going to get to check all of these locations that are up here. So, I had a question in chat as well about locations of Flute and Flippers. Well, if you're wondering where Flute is, you're about to see it on Jet's side here in the brewery. I'm just going to pick that up in just a moment right now. And Flippers won't be too far away because I assume Jet's going to be heading into Thieves Town, and it is in the last chest in the front.
He just finished Thieves Town. He has the Flippers.
That's right. So yeah, he's got the flips then, but there's the flute as well.
Also, I love the fact that at some point soon, Jet is probably going to go down to Hype Cave and then walk south and mirror over to Mini Moldorm Cave at almost an hour into the seed. That is fantastic.
Indeed. And there's the bombos for Buane. Sorry about that, everybody. I was just thinking Buane did it in reverse. He did flute first, then went to Thieves Town to get the flippers, so my mind was still on that. But yes, Jet has completed Thieves Town. Also doesn't have the hammer, so didn't get to see what was in that big chest yet. Yeah, here's the difference for Jet with that Bombos medallion at hand, probably heading over to Meyer at some point here for a first check. Do we see Jet hop into Meyer, considering that we'll probably get a Hype Cave check at some point as well? Might have the lamp, might have everything that one might need to go ahead and complete the whole dungeon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jet following the path that Buane did, but with the Bombos medallion diving into Meyer. You got the 2 items in Meyer, and then another 2 unlocked with Pyramid Fairy. And, you know, Pod's looking pretty tempting right now, and Pyramid Fairy is on the way to Pod. Well, not really when you have Mitts, never mind.
That could still be a play, though. One thing that would be kind of hard to get to without the hammer would be actually getting the bomb all the way around the hammer pegs there. Totally possible to do it, just not super easy.
So these 2 both going over the checks the others did a little bit ago. By the end of this, they'll be mostly at parity in terms of what they've seen. You know, Buane's still going to be going through Hera. He's still got to deal with Spiral Cave unless he decides to skip it. So those are going to add up while Jet makes his way down to Hype Cave and Purple Chest, etc.
Indeed. So, yeah, I was just to kind of piggyback off the last point here. I feel like, based on what we know from what we've seen, and knowing that we still need a hammer, I feel like the worst place it could be would actually be a Pyramid Fairy chest, because that would mean we'd have to go do Aga to be able to get there in the first place.
I mean, logically, yes, but
Logically,
practically, no.
Correct.
But yeah, Hammer of Pyramid Fairy is one of those things that is like, you know, before we found multiple ways to get across the river with no flippers and, you know, deal with the bomb situation, before that it was just like, well, this is the worst case scenario.
Yeah, if that's the case, we'll probably see the sequence breaks for that then, so that they don't have to have the hammer to be able to get to the hammer, or have to go to Aga 1.
We are headed over here, and Jet is going to mirror and check the first chest of swamp, which I enjoy because if the hammer is here, you're not going to be back for a very long time.
Right. And
Well, wait, actually, I
this...
forgot he hadn't done the dam yet, so he might not be checking
Right.
first chest of swamp.
Right. I like this play anyways, just because it's if you want to go into swamp, you can. You don't have to. Yeah, we are probably gonna see him. Yeah, turn around there. If he was gonna not go into it, we would have seen him probably set the portal up a little bit further away from the door, so that he could pick up a bomb and walk through the portal without reactivating it.
True. And Buane gets that much easier Moldorm fight, just 3 Master Sword spins and Moldorm is down, and the bug net is obtained.
Ooh.
Hey, there's another sword.
Neat.
So now we've got a sword in Nagina that you could easily miss, and then we got a sword in the first chest of Swamp Palace that, depending on how the seed plays out, you might easily miss.
And Jet's going to be making the trip over to Mini Dorm Cave, I guess you could call it, because there's not really anything in here. Even nice little bit of work there with the sword swipes and the bomb to take care of Mini Moldorms, and he's about to get all the delicious rupees and piece of heart that he could possibly ever want. Meanwhile, Buane is going to be making the play in to Misery Mire. So we're about to have some of our questions answered on what exactly is in here.
Yep, and Jet going back to his Dark World portal and going to head up to Hype Cave now, which he did not do beforehand.
Correct. We'll find a lamp in there, and not much else. Using the hook shot, one of the 2 methods for getting across that gap. The other one, of course, is to bonk across, which I believe, if I remember, with Spooky Action Glitch. Is that one of the ways to set it up? Is a bonk?
If it is, I don't know that way. I just know throw a Samaria block into a pit and the duck setup.
Right. It's one of the things that I'm somewhat unfamiliar with some of the setups, unfortunately, because I haven't really played around with it much myself. But I can at least usually tell when they're setting one of the main ways that they're setting it up. Of course, we don't have the boots, so not seeing that. Just some bombs on Lake Hilly Island.
And Jet going back to Dark World, which means he's probably going to go right up to Pod, if I had to guess.
Looks
Go
like
ahead and
that's
dive
the case.
into.
Yep. That's astute observation there, Mentos. Definitely going over the pod. And we get to see what's hiding out in this pendant dungeon.
Let's go, not hammer.
So we're not hoping for a vanilla hammer, or at least the correct vanilla dungeon.
I'm still pulling for the Ice Palace hammer, so yeah, I don't want it here.
Right. We know it can't be on pedestal because the presence of pendant pod eliminates that.
Very true. And Buane getting the big key on the left side here, it means that there is a chance that this chest over here is a small key. If the big key is on the left side, there has to be a small key with it. The small key on the left side, it has, or no, if the big key's on the left side, it doesn't have to be a small key. But if there's a small key on the left side, big key has to be. So when you find the big key, this chest is a little bit lower value than normal.
But we do find the small key, so not having to worry about that. Meanwhile, Buane gonna be heading down into the hole. What's in the vanilla big key chest? It's just a small key.
Exhibit A. So Jack can go ahead and do the right side over here first. Gonna, try to see if that bow unlocks anything. It gave nothing on Armos. And, you got it. You might as well check it while you're here.
Another small key for Buane.
This is not a friendly mire in terms of item distribution.
This is turning out to be the long way around for Buane, having to find these last couple items.
And right side pod with 2 small keys, so we are going to be seeing the vanilla big key chest because there's no guarantee it's a key.
Ouch. Buane finding a single arrow in the big chest. That's not what we want to see. And a big 20 in another chest. Well, that's just disappointing.
Yeah, that was a lot of time used for an arrow and $20.
Ooh, we do have a vanilla big key. Looks like in pod.
And a map in the basement. Thanks, game.
Yes, indeed. This is where that lamp comes in handy.
And Buane shooting off a fire rod shot before dropping the Samaria block there to keep a spooky they set up with the duck earlier intact. That way there, it does not reset the altitude value with the Samaria block.
Yep, he's got that nicely set up there. Using that fire rod to flip this crystal switch. Once again, nicely done by Buane.
And Jet doing the hammer jump, getting 3 bombs. I recall back during the Kisandi tournament, back not last year but the year before, when Jet had to learn the hammer jump after a race was found to be an incompletable soft lock seed, to just see what was to show what was going on with it. He learned hammer jump live on stream. It was kind of fun.
Buane using some sword spins there. Sacrificing a little bit of life, now onto the bow, and just going to hammer away with those bow shots in the vitreous. Boom goes the big baddie, and it's a compass for his troubles, and more importantly, getting a crystal out of it. Ooh, silvers.
I mean, silvers are nice, but were they worth the full clear pod? Not at all.
No, probably not.
So Helmosaur is also, unless I saw something wrong, Helmosaur is also going to hold an item and have the green pendant, which is rough.
Yeah, it might make it tempting for Buane or even Jet later on if they find Hammer and they're still looking for 1 or 2 things to go back in there and do it clear. Oh, actually both both our fine runners here checking the exact same location. Almost a little bit of sync.
I think this is our first convergence since they walked out of Sanctuary at the start of the race.
Yeah, I believe that is the case. So 52 minutes in, we're synchronized, but only on location checks, not on items or things completed yet. So back to divergence.
And we're going to get a pyramid check, probably a catfish check into the waterfall and Zora by Jet.
Yeah, kind of surprising, I guess, with the early items that we found. Maybe not so surprising that we haven't been up to Zora yet. But this will be nice and efficient here for Jet. It'll be interesting to see if Buane does something similar. Minus the pyramid check.
Yeah, it looks like since he's already done K40 or Graveyard Ledge, he's walking over to Catfish, going the north route here.
Not gonna have to do the Kern jump to get across the river here since we've got the flips. Get out of the way, Hinox.
So, what else do we have left? We haven't seen any of Ice Palace, which is my personal hope. Lammolas has an item that we have not seen. And Pyramid Fairy could be done. And that's really about it for things that are in logic that we haven't seen.
That is correct. And we're still 3 items technically from Go mode. An additional item for Jet, because Jet's not been up the checkerboard cave yet to check out the Fire Rod being up there. But we need the Ice Rod, we need Quake, and we need the Hammer. At least. There's Ether.
And so when Jet is done with this, he's probably going to go to the Mire area, if I had to guess, and get that Fire Rod. On Buane's side, he'll probably walk this out and go down to Pyramid and Pod.
I think that would make sense. And just 10 arrows on the Zora ledge. Let's see what the big fish themselves has got.
Also, chat reminding us that there is an item not found in Skull Woods yet as well, to add to that short list of where stuff could be.
Just a big 50, so partial refund, 10% refund for Jet. I call that 10% cash back. That's actually kind of generous.
It's a little bit less of a ripoff than normal.
And yep, that's a correct call there. We are seeing Jet go ahead and make the journey over to the Mire area.
Yep, so he'll get his Fire Rod here shortly. He'll probably dive into Desert like Buane did. We'll see if he goes to Lammolas or not. $14 hearts with blue mail is basically enough to just be 100% good for the seed.
Yep. So chat asking where the silvers were. They're in Pod. They're in the U-shaped room, in the dark U-shaped room, kind of in the back, and they're on the left side.
And Desert had nothing, was pretty much set up. Any setup that you have, as long as Lammo has an item, is going to be pretty much equally quick when you have the mirror. So, not gonna have any routing shenanigans or anything here. Just do the same thing Buane did, probably all the way down to getting through Mire. And Buane is in fact heading up here to Pod, so no one will be doing the silverless Ganon today because he's going to get his silvers here.
Which is great if you're hoping for a really close, even race here at the end, because they'll both be on silvers. You won't see the difference between doing silver and silverless.
Yeah,
this will help out. I was gonna say this will help out Jet a little bit as well, because Buane's going to be going through and doing this dungeon clear, which Jet has already done. So, no, Jet's going to the back. Gonna go finish up Desert Atlas here.
Yeah, looking for that item on Landmo. I wonder if he feels a little bit bad having cleared Pod for nothing. But also, you've got increasingly few item locations left that aren't awful. And you still don't have the hammer, which locks a lot of things. So Jet's kind of at a point well here where he just needs to check things. With silver arrows, this Land Molus fight is going to go very quickly and very easily. And then, yeah, he'll probably check Checkerboard Cave, do Mire, and then go to Agena and get his third sword, if I had a guess at how this will play out for a little while.
That sounds like a pretty solid guess there, Mentos. Of course, silvers make Lamolas very easy. Ooh, he's gonna get the butter
never
sword.
mind. That's not worth the time it took to kill Landmolus, but hey, it's gonna make the eventual, Cold Stare and Trinex fights nice and easy.
Yeah, it will. It might still be worthwhile though if we have to go ahead and pull something off bed.
True. The sword is not worth the time it takes to kill Landmolus, but
No.
The overall might be worth. So now Jet doing a slightly different route, going to do Mire first and then Checkerboard. Probably because of wanting to be able to jump down and do Agena while he does it. Jet could save a good chunk of time if he picks up the big key on the left side and then dips out without going to the cutscene chest. And then he could just go to the right side, get his 2 items, and save out on that whole wall moving thing.
Yeah, really, just to give a quick recap of what can still be on head, it's Quake or Ice Rod. Obviously, Hammer cannot be because we need Hammer in Pod, and an item that is needed to complete a pendant dungeon cannot be Pedestal, or else we would be in a soft lock situation.
So Buane is going to go to the right here. He'll get his silver arrows in the U room. And then we've got, some questions on his part in terms of where to go. I'm beginning to think I may have successfully cursed these runners.
You might have. Successfully finding the silvers, though, is Buane. And that's a mirror out. And a goodbye. Perhaps for now, perhaps for good. We'll see. So I do see Chad is starting to mention the Pyramid Fairy Hammer possibility. Not necessarily, especially with these two, not necessarily a requirement to do Aga, because there are options for sequence breaking that involve the flips to be able to get over there.
And this is a play I did not expect from Buane. He's actually going back for Lanmo before dealing with any of the other options. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of great options, but I am surprised to see him go right back for Lanmo before anything else.
I'm a little surprised at that too. Unless he's hedging bets that maybe the second item is here that he's looking for, or maybe Hammer's back here or something, or maybe just, I don't know, maybe worried about Pedpull. I don't know. I don't know if I would be worried about Pedpull, but I might be worried that the Hammer was back here.
Yep, and there are no good locations left for Buane, let's put it that way. There are locations, but none of them are good. It's just usually when you make a gamble to skip something, like say an item on Landmo, you usually see people hold to it a little bit longer and go with those other options. So it's less of a surprise of this option is worse than other options, and more a surprise of, no, usually you don't see someone go back on a gamble that quickly.
Well, he's going to find himself a sword upgrade, and not going to be too happy about it, but it is what it is.
And Jet getting his back-to-back disappointment with the single arrow and the $20 in right side mire. Now Buane making that back of Skull Woods play, it looks like. She's gonna have 2 pens down and pod cleared outside of Helmasaur. So if at the end of this we end up needing Pedestal, it's not gonna be a whole lot of extra stuff for Buane compared to where he's already at. Now Jet with no boots did not, and with no fire rod, did not have the ability to set up the spooky action glitch, so he just went ahead and did this the normal way, slower, but people know how to do it. It was the way the run worked until last year, or 2.5 years ago. It was mid 2018 when Spooky was found.
And like a lot of glitches here in Link to the Past Randomizer, it operates based on the old principle of game does not like when you do 2 things at once.
Spooky, of course, slowly, pointed in the direction of the eventual total game-breaking shenanigans that Ancilla showed. So, it kind of set a course for some wacky things to start happening in this game.
Indeed. It's always really interesting to see kind of like the history of how we find these things and what they lead to, and like there's chains of things where someone finds one item and then it leads to like 3 or 4 different things that are completely unrelated but are just as game breaking. And Buane, of course, taking out Mothula, getting a second pendant.
And unfortunately for him, the item was not on Mothula, so he's gonna have to go right back down here to that annoying chest at the end of this maze.
But Jet's got that fire rod.
So Buane's got a moth clear on Jet. Other than that, they are basically tied up here, and that's a shovel. Why?
Because you've cursed us, Mentos. And this game must give us terrible things.
I'm not against, the game giving terrible things, just of all the things, the shovel? Jet has his sword of butter, which is, you know, going to make all combat in this game a joke. If I'm reading Buane's plan here right, he is going to go check the shovel on the way to the bomb shop, and then go do some bomb dupe shenanigans to get to the Pyramid Fairy. Oh, he's checking powder. Never mind. Jet gets his piece of heart from Ice Rod Cave, leaves, and he's gonna have an interesting question here. We'll see where he wants to go. My man, making the Ice Palace play.
So yeah, Jet's gonna be the first one to go into ice here. It'll be interesting to see if Buane decides to fly over to 8. Nope.
He's gonna go check that shovel first,
Shovel.
which I think is a smart choice.
Yep. I do have to say that I like this play from Jet. If Hammer's hiding out here, if it's not, then it's not a bad play, but it is a bit of a time-consuming play. And just the piece of heart there at the shovel spot, Buane not going to be too happy with that. And
there
it is.
Yes, Hammer. Good job.
Mentos, you were completely correct on that, on reading that. So good. So shout outs to you for reading that the hammer might be in Ice Palace. It sure was. Very first chest. Very, very first chest.
I remember way back when we found that Bombos medallion. It was like, hey, this could go to Ice Palace. Yep, there it was.
You know what the bad thing is about this, though?
What's that?
Finding a hammer doesn't necessarily remove anything from the ped pool possibilities.
Oh yeah, not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
It just means like you're probably gonna do a swamp next, I would assume.
Yeah, Swamp to Pyramid Fairy afterwards seems like the likely play after this.
Right, unless we find our next two items in here are like Ice Rod, Quake, like everything's been hiding here for us, and nobody's gone there for an hour 10.
That would also be fantastic with how easy it was to get in here.
I kind of feel like the worst possibility right now is that we find Quake inside of Swamp Palace and nothing else. And so both runners make the gamble about Ice Rod being on Laser Bridge, the usual, aka the usual spot, and it's not in Turtle Rock at all. It's on Pedestal, and it's like, shoot.
Yeah, that would be bound to be a pretty sad moment when you realize that one.
Or we find Mushroom on Pedestal, and then Mushroom turn-in is exactly where we need to go.
So we're coming up on the item-dense portion of Ice Palace here. There's the big key, which functionally only gives us the big chest because no runner in the top 16 needs the Ice Palace big key ever.
Yep, and the map upstairs, so nothing more yet.
But in our tracker A0 pointing out the Ice Rod could be in the Thieves Town big chest, which is arguably the worst possible place it could be.
That is true as well. The one advantage is runners will probably, if they're gonna be thinking pod, may check that. Now the worst case would be they don't check that till just before they go do Pedestal, and it's there, and you didn't have to do any of that stuff. You just feel really dumb. You're like, why did I do this?
chances are the answer is going to be swamp. Like, there are 6 items there we haven't seen. Something's going to be there, and then there's another 5 items in T-Rock if we find Quake. That's the odds-on favor for where things will be. But it's not the most interesting option.
No, it's not the most trolly option by far. There are still happy possibilities for those who really want to see this be a seed that terrorizes our poor runners here.
Jet doing a bomb jump across this hole so you can go back and check the freezer chest here. And with it being a small key, he'll also check the big chest, looking for that 3rd item. We found 2 so far.
And there's our last item, so neither item remains in Ice Palace. It's just going to be straight shot the cold stare at this point.
Oh boy, we have a shield now. Now I can block, 2 types of attacks in the entire game.
Woohoo!
Shield is like really nice when you're learning the game, but then you find out that it literally only blocks like 3 things, even when you have Mirror Shield, and you're like, you know what? This ain't so useful anymore. Oof, getting hit by that falling ice block, and that knocks Jet out of what would have been otherwise a very easy quick kill. He obviously is not going to have any trouble taking Cold Stare down, it's slow.
Yep. Gonna get a crystal out of it, though. We'll get to see if Buane can do it. And what happened to the Jet there, not uncommon. It's pretty easy to forget about the timing on those ice ball drops and get hit by one while you're trying to set that up. Buane doing a little bit of nice tech there, pulling the statue up just enough to get it to clip over the edge there, standing beside it and pushing sideways to get it to work. And yeah, Buane is getting that corner set up really nicely done. Quick kill. Boom.
Yep, that Butter Sword makes it a little bit quicker when you get it right, but it's not a big difference between Butter Quick Kill and Tempered. But that was a good amount of time saved for Buane over Jet there. Also, someone in chat asking, is it me or is the race still really close? Yes, this race is very, very, very close. Buane's got that shovel from Skullwoods that gave him nothing. Other than that, they've done all the same things, basically. They are going to the same places. This is a very, very tight race at the moment. So we're heading back to Swamp. Jet has already checked the first chest in here. So Buane's going to have to take things a little bit slower, but he'll get Butter Sword. Jet's just going to walk right on by, right down to the, middle of the dungeon. Okay, so I know it's, way early to even think about the possibility, really, but since Chad is asking about it, tie is basically no game. So if they were to tie again, it would still be a best of 3, just, there would be a lot of wasted time before the best of 3 began. So we're coming up on our new information here. Jet is going around this little loopy-loop room, which, is not great to walk to. You kind of wish you could maybe run through it. It's an hour and 15 minutes in game. Where are the boots? That's not them.
I was gonna say it's like one of those things where you might find the boots hanging out in like GT, like at the top, when you don't absolutely no longer need them. You're just like, thanks, game. I really appreciate that.
Man, I think I can outdo chat on the evil front here. Boots and Thieves Town big chest, and GT big key on the torch.
And that would be mean.
So Jet is initially at least skipping left side. We'll see if Buane does the same. He's got 2 items left to look for. He hasn't found any non-items yet. It's a big 20 and a heart piece. So that is 4 items accounted for, 2 locations left until the... or before there would be an item left on the left side.
Is boots on torch possible? Only if they're not required for anything, but I don't think in this mode they are.
Yeah, that would only be if it was beatable logic they could show up on the torch, but the tournament races are played with 100% inventory logic, which means that you're always going to get every inventory item, even if they're really, really, really annoying to get. See, there's this nice little quick kill you can do on, Argus, which Jet is actually not doing. It's a little bit easier with the boots, I feel, even though not required with Tempered Sword, but...
I'm always really impressed with some of the strats that we have for Argus, especially when you do the double puff kill with the hammer, or when you have to because you're on, master, like fighter sword coming into here. It's always really impressive to see some of these different ways that you have as options to kill Argus if you choose to. But yeah, for Jet and Buane, based on what they've got, there's no real reason to worry about that. And Jet coming back in here, check some locations.
Yeah, we found out there were 2 items on left side of Swamp, so you're gonna be hard-pressed to avoid that in this situation.
That's a situation that I've seen burn people before. Buane, I think, just got the quick kill.
He also went for the little bit slower phase 1, but easier phase 1. But he did get that silver arrow phase 2 that, got that down real quick.
So yeah, Buane will not know about either. Will not take the gamble. It's almost, with those 2 items and needing 2 items for go mode, not impossible, or not likely that both items are there, but it's not impossible either. It's a non-zero chance that those both could be there. It's not really something that you want to risk this late in the race.
Yep, and in the current situation, they've got Pyramid Fairy they can do, they got Helmasaur and the Green Pendant they can do. Jet's got that 1 item in Skull Woods. Like, there's not enough on the table. Oh yeah, there's Spike Cave as well now. But there's not enough on the table to really feel like, you can skip these 2 items and, I'll just find it elsewhere. You're at, if I skip these 2 items, I only have, 4 things to check. So let's see what we get. We're coming up to the first left side chest here, and it's the big key, because of course it is. And a red shirt. So that, as if 15 hearts and blue mail wasn't enough, now you've got 15 hearts and red mail.
Of course, we're getting the classic look from Jet for the red mail I like that for that Zero Suit CMS sprite. That's really cool. And a single green rupee.
Thanks, Swamp. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
So Jet is gonna go with the obvious play here and go up to Pyramid Fairy. And after that, things get interesting with the decision making and the possibilities. So what do you think? If Pyramid Fairy has nothing, do you go for, as Jet back of Skull Woods, do you go for Helmosaur and Green Pendant? Or do you go for the Thieves Town Big Chest? Or you go the Overworld and go for Hammer Pegs and Spike Cave?
That's a great question. I really don't know what I would do. I'd probably, if I was running this, I think I'd probably go and try to finish up Palace of Darkness. That feels like, since I'm already over here anyways, just finish that up, get that out of the way. And for Buane, that would mean pets in play. For Jet, would just mean trip up the Skull Woods, and then you complete that, mirror through, and then you just blind pull ped if it's an option.
Yeah, both pretty solid choice there, and we get a mushroom in Pyramid Fairy, so we're gonna see, option 3, go turn into mushroom.
Option 3, none of the above.
There goes the turn in. Gonna walk off the screen over here. You want to just hold Y while you're turning in the mushroom, by the way, and then you can turn it in on the first possible frame.
For 10 arrows.
Such value.
As the game sometimes says at the end, when you get the Triforce, the value.
So Jet is doing what you were talking about. He's going to go back to Pod. You got an item on Helmosaur. You got the Green Pendant. And Buane is going to go turn in that mushroom. And I think he's going to do the same.
I think it makes sense. And we'll see what Buane does from there. I assume probably, yeah, go ahead and complete Pod here. Plus you get Green Pendant turn in. So that could be another item. That could be, if it's Green Pendant turn in and Ped, you've got both your items, your go mode, just go up the Turtle Rock and finish that off.
Yeah, and for Buane, the Helmosaur King has 3 items, since it is Green Pendant Pedestal and the boss item, but he's going up Death Mountain. He's going for Spike Cave.
Well, interesting choice from Buane. Just interesting that I think maybe Wayne's thinking, eliminating these single one-off locations. That's not a bad play, though. Just to bring that up, it's not bad necessarily to go ahead and do that.
Yep, and it's being pointed out that he did not do Spiral Cave while he was up on Death Mountain to begin with. But you don't really route from Spike Cave over to Spiral Cave very well when you don't have boots. If you had boots, maybe, but this is kind of a one-off without them.
Yeah, it's going to be a save and quit probably to... probably back to like Sanctuary or something. Oh, okay.
Well, that's part 2 of the puzzle.
Well, good news. No laser bridge go mode item. Bad news, still don't have Quake. And that's the only thing left that could be on Ped.
That could be real bad for Jet if Quake is in tier Pod or the Green Pendant here. He's probably not going to hit Spike Cave.
No. The only thing I could think of is the possibility that he might He might flute the 1 and then check Spike Cave, save and quit, and then go from there to finish up TR. That's a possible routing choice if that's the case, but I don't know if that's a likely routing choice.
It would be pretty likely just because when you leave T-Rock from Laser Bridge, you can preserve that portal. And then if it is at Spike Cave, you can just, die on the overworld and jump right back in.
Right.
But, there's Quake.
Oh, okay. Well, we're in no mode. So Buane probably will be in go mode here shortly.
Yep, and with that item being, that freely accessible, I'd say Buane's got a pretty sizable advantage right now. Like I said, Jet's not going to check Spike Cave before T-Rock.
Right. I was going to say, depending on where Jet decides to go after the Screen Pendant turn in. Yeah, I think it's safe to assume at this point, based on all things that we've seen, we know it's not going to be anything for Jet. Now it's really interesting to see where does Jet go, but we know Buane's going to be in go mode here in just a moment. Going to 1.
And let's see. The play I expect is not the one that would be best, and it's the one he's making.
Yep.
So yeah.
Wait a minute. Jet, are you going up to Spike Cave, friend? Did he have a second? Did he have a second thought here?
He did.
Is he gonna feel? If he did, he's gonna be really happy in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we may have a race on our hands here. A very tight race.
Yeah, this is gonna be very close by the end of this, dear Lord.
Mentos, are we gonna have another tie?
I hope so. I'm sure these two don't hope so, but I hope so.
I think Jet may have just saved himself from definitely going down 1-0. There's the ice rod. 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 2 seconds. Jet is in go mode, but hold on to your horses here, because we're about to see a very quick return to go mode here for Buane at 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 21 seconds, 19 seconds between each other in go mode. The big advantage for Jet here, he's already on Death Mountain, so this is going to be time that he's going to continue the gain over Buane, who has to come back up here.
So I feel like it is worth pointing out, we have said they're in go mode, but they're not necessarily in go mode just yet.
Right.
We are an hour and a half in with no boots.
Right. So there's still a possibility that, as everyone has surmised, if we're talking boots required for big GT Big Key, then yeah, we will not be out of go mode. We could potentially be in it here.
And Jet going over to the T-Rock screen as Buane begins his hookshot journey across the mountain. They're going to be in T-Rock at the same time. They're both going to be go-moding it. That would have been the major disadvantage to Jet if he hadn't made that Spike Cave call before diving T-Rock. Would have been the go mode versus non-go mode T-Rock, but that's not a difference anymore. Just down to who can clear this out quicker, get to GT, and hope for the best.
I think the thing here is we're kind of almost we're pretty much out of fetch quests at this point, so there's not really a worry about that. The only possibility would be if books are on one of the like on Bombos or something, and we have to get the book. The boots are on Bombos, and we have to get the book off head or something like that. Something ridiculous like that. But we're pretty close to having that be eliminated. Jet finding the big key in the very first chest.
That is basically what you want to see when you're go-moding T-Rock. And yeah, there's really, outside of boots are in GT, there are very few options if they're required, so they would both just full clear GT immediately.
That would be fun though. We might get to see the fabled big chest inside of GT, which we never get to see, except in situations like that.
Well, you still wouldn't see the big chest, because if you had the big key to open it, you
Oh.
wouldn't be opening the big chest to begin with.
That is correct. That's a derp. Well, maybe it'll walk past the big chest just to let us know that it's still there.
I swear, if Ganon was smart, he would just put everything in that one chest. No one would ever find it.
Right, he does a very bad job of hiding things. He's like, oh no, you found the thing that I hid in a very easily accessible location.
I conveniently hid all these items in a
Ooh.
logical way that allowed you to reach me. How dare you?
There's the book in the Chain Chomp room.
Of course we find the book just for good measure. It had to happen, right?
I mean, yeah, you know, in my daily life, I hide things around town here that people can use to defeat me. You know, it's just the way life is.
Yeah, it's a pretty normal day. So I just want to point out how bad it must feel to have gotten that book, nearly filled up your inventory. To be fair, Jet never found the shovel. But, you know, you got pretty much everything on your inventory full, except for the spot where the boots go.
Yep. And there's that 1 in 22 chance that you desperately need that to actually complete the game. And when it does happen like that, you just feel it just is like deflating. Jet skipping the big chest there. Gonna go ahead and just walk on back and go mode here.
Yep, it's a risk. There is a chance that you have to do laser bridge because of it. There's a chance you have to go all the way back to the big chest because of it. Not super high chance, but it's a chance that's there, but it's gone now.
Yeah, Buane's gonna skip it as well. So that's another location for those of you keeping track of probably locations where the boots could be. Big chest and Turtle Rocks possibility. Mimic Cave possibility. Or we'd have to backtrack. But I get the feeling it's probably not going to be the case tonight.
I'd just like to say how silly it is that after an hour and 40 minutes of rando in Game 1, and now another hour and 35 minutes in Game 2, these two are basically 2 rooms apart. That's the entire difference between 2 seeds of race between them.
That is something else here. You know, it just really shows, I think, Mentos, like how talented these two are. And unfortunately, we're not going to get to see the Mentos special tonight because we've got Canis Samaria and no boots. So no hovering across the Trinex gap.
Yeah, although, to be fair, no one wants to do that when your opponent isn't done yet. That's the
Right.
My opponent is already done, I'm just gonna meme around move.
That's true.
A very nice kill from Jet on Trinex. You can't get the 0 cycle without boots, so that was as good a Trinex as you could have.
Yeah, I think we'll see Buane set this up the same as well. And it is that time, is it not?
It is, and there's not very long to the time. So there are 22 locations in Ganon's Tower. One of them has the big key. You can pick 1 through 22 in the chat, throw your number out there, and you might win a small amount of recognition.
All right. Jet's about to pop in here.
And so, what are you thinking? What's your guess?
I'm gonna say 15. I like 15.
I'm gonna be that guy. 3.
All right. May as well pencils down, everybody. Pencils down. There's 1. There's 2.
$40 to start out, and we're gonna see very soon just if this race is close or if dumb things could still happen.
All right, here we go. No. It's a small key.
Okay, so we are in go mode. This is down to execution through GT and Ganon. The Ganon fight for both of these two is going to be flawless. You don't mess up the Butter Sword kill. So it's basically just who does the best GT.
Here's the 4, 5. Nothing yet. Not seeing it yet. 6, 7. No. Transdimensional high five between Buane and Jet. Oh boy. This is getting close. There's an 8.
And this is our divergence here. Buane going for the Dark Magician style play. Gonna go to the right side to the compass room. If the big key is there, he suddenly takes the lead. If the big key is not there, Jet's lead grows wider.
Right, and just for those playing along with the game, we're going off what Jet has opened up, not what Buane opens up if it's early, just because that's the way we play. Whoever goes in first gets to have the count. There we go, that's 9, I believe. Now the randomizer room. Meanwhile, Buane gonna check the right side here. Let's see if this pays off.
And we're going to be getting the compass room and random room checks nearly simultaneously.
Oh boy, 2 more chests for Buane. Is it in this top right one? No!
It's
And
not,
Jet
but he's
hasn't found it
going... If he goes
Ooh.
full Dark Magician, but he's not.
Nope.
So Jet has a decent lead at this point, unless it's in Tile Room, where it'll be relatively balanced.
Right. So yeah, 4 more chests to check over here. And then we'll just have tile. And if it's not here, it'll be notes in tile room. So we'll see. We've got the let's see a bomb jump here from Jet. We've got Bob's chest, and then the 3 chests behind the second Armos Knights fight. And then tile room. That's our only 4 unchecked locations at this point. Not Bob's chest.
If we get the Ice Armos kill, gonna be nice and quick with those silver arrows. And then the 3 chests behind it. If it's not here, we know it's in Tile Room. Jet does not know that.
Alright, so here's 15 through 17. 15, no. 16, no. 17, yes.
Okay, no Tile Room today, thankfully. Jet is going to be heading upstairs. Buane will be not too far behind him, but he does have a decent size, Jet has a decent size lead.
Alright. So, I just want to give a shout out to the first person who guessed 17. Congratulations, our shop. You were the first to say 17. A couple other people said it after. Rakubi and Magios also guessed 17. So, good job, Ike TV guessing 17. So, we got a couple 17s in the chat. So, if you guessed 17, good on ya.
So at this point for Jet, it is just a sheer execution test getting up the gauntlet. Buane, will be there very soon once killing Ice Armos. Now, the thing here is Jet would need a sizable misstep to take a loss here. I don't expect him to have that, but it has happened to every one of us at some point. Like, we have all had that day in the top of GT or top of GT or Ganon where things go wrong even though we're all prepared, and all of a sudden we've lost minutes on something that should have taken us no time. So it's not over, but Jet is very well ahead.
And do really want to quickly shout this out in chat. Bot wasn't working, so Urshap didn't win a leaderboard prize, but Durinthal was nice enough to gift Urshap a sub, so you still win a prize. I would say a very nice prize. He's a 1 month subscription gifted to you from the wonderful Speed Gaming channel. Use those emotes with pride, friend.
Wizard's 1 is dead. Jet has plenty of arrows for Ganon. He's got butter, he's got red mail, and plenty of health. This should be relatively open and shut.
Indeed. Jet making his way through the most satisfying room in Game Park 2. Just a couple more rooms to go on this floor. And then we get to the relatively less difficult 6th floor and Aga 2 fight on floor 7. Now with the biggest, most important thing in the game, not deleting all the sprites in the dungeon. Of course, Jet knows how to not do that with ease. Just a couple more rooms to go here. Going to be heading toward that Moldorm 2 fight.
Yep, and boots could be in these chests up here, but we won't see them because boots are meaningless at this point.
Indeed. Gonna pick up the hook shot here and take care of Moldorm 2. Careful. There we go. And Jet's just gonna bypass this. When you're in a race and you know you've got every second that counts, you're just gonna go ahead and not check it. No reason to check it. But Buane is on the MLS 2, not too far behind. Gonna be heading upstairs here, basically 2 floors behind. But these floors are not going to be very long ones, so we'll see here how Jet does in Aga 2.
Oh, that's a fantastic lineup. Easy triple.
Beautiful. He's going to get double out of this. Maybe, oh, you only get the single. That's a nice lineup though. Ooh, there's single.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough Aga 2 here. Gives Buane a little bit of time back, but he is down. We are going to Ganon.
Yep. 3-1-1-1. There's definitely a possibility that Buane can make up some time here with some really good execution. A double triple is going to be super, super nice for Buane. But since Jet's already on the big pig, it may not be enough time without a fall.
Yeah, taking a fall would basically even it up, but you've got Gold Sword, you've got the Silver Arrows. You're going to make quick work of this fight, and the only thing that's a threat is really if you try to be too fast about things.
Indeed, and Ganon asking the important questions in life. You know, we're not supposed to have midnight snacks. Why is there light in the fridge? It's a very valid point. And Jet's already on the phase 3, making super quick work of this Ganon fight. You know, Silver's out already. As Buane hits the Aga 2 fight here. And there it is.
Oh no, Silver's my one true weakness. I left them somewhere where you can find them.
And Jet, I'm gonna go ahead and try and get a double here. One more arrow shot to do it.
Very clean. That's going to wrap up game 2 or 1B, or however you want to put it.
Game, yeah, the replay of Game 1 will not be a tie this time. We're going to have a decisive winner, and it's going to be Jet, who is going to finish with an official SRL TV, not TV time of 1:47.43. Get those GGs in chat, everybody. Whew. This was a good one. It's gonna show up as probably just over a minute win for Jet, I think here. But boy, it was a lot. It's gonna seem like it was a bit of time, but boy, it was a lot closer than what it seemed.
A quick welcome to Jet, who has joined us. We're gonna walk through Buane's Ganon fight here before we get to interviews and everything.
Absolutely. Buane now looks like on to phase 3. Yep, getting the warps.
Yep, with gold, getting the 1-in-1 cycle is basically a given when you know how the fight works, so not really any kind of concern on this fight at this point.
Absolutely. And there's 4 shots with the sword. Oh no, silvers. I left them conveniently somewhere where you could find them.
I love that Buane just missed the exact same silver shot that Jet missed at the start of phase 4 there. That is fantastic.
Honest, that makes me feel a little better too.
Indeed. And here we go, one more freeze, and Buane shooting one more arrow for posterity, just because. Those GGs in chat for Buane. Have to walk across the small bridge that leads to bigger and better things. And Buane finishing up with an official SRL time of 1:49.26. Meow meow meow. Meow meow meow. Oh my god. Alright. So that was a really good race between we'll get Buane here in just a moment. But Jet, boy, whew. You two really like to put on these close races.
I did not feel good at all, ever, in the seat. At no point did I feel good about any of my decisions.
Absolutely. And by the way, we'd like to also welcome Buane to the chat. GG Buane.
Hey everybody.
We were just telling Jet here. You two sure like to put on some close races. That was another one that was almost within the realm of tie there for a bit. We were wondering if it was going to happen again, but yeah.
These GT routes are not being too kind to me in this series so far. But this was not the first seed was pretty fun. I had a lot of fun with it. This seed was like the opposite. This was at no point was this fun at all, and so you kind of spiritually check out towards the end of these and like, okay, fine, you win seed. I'm not gonna make any more plays. Just let me get the items and get out of here. I'm secretly hoping like I left Hammer in Spiral Cave and Jet's just gonna finish at like 130 and you know that's gonna be it or something like that. But yeah,
our last seed was in all dungeons, and that actually felt better because it made sense to do the dungeons in the order. This one, it's like, well, I'm gonna orphan pretty much everything and have to backtrack just to check one thing because it's probably my whatever Quake or something.
Coming out of pod the first time with no Hammer, I had like 14 locations left, and every one of them was terrible and not something I ever want to do. And I did not know what order I'm supposed to do this in. What do I save? What do I go to first? I kind of regretted a couple of the things I did before Ice, but it's like splitting hairs. It's like, yeah, you should have gone to Hammerless Ice sooner. You don't feel like an idiot for that. It's just like happened to be the play this one. It was really hard. Like you're used to sometimes having to choose, okay, I've got 3 bad options, which one is best? There was like 8 bad options on the table, and it's really hard to put that in the correct order in real time.
So for me, before it was either Hammers in Ice somewhere, or at least progressions in Ice, or it's Pyramid Fairy, or it's Skull Woods. And I'm like, I felt like if it was either of the last two, I pretty much lost. So I'm just going to go to Ice and really hope Hammer was there. And then it was. I'm like, okay, feel a little bit better. But I have not practiced the trick of taking the big bomb and doing the trick to skip Aga. So I'm like, I'm going to waste 5 minutes killing Aga if it's at Pyramid. Like,
I was really worried about that too, because I know in theory, how it's done.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I was like, I'm gonna jump in the water. I'll try it one time if it comes to it. I'll jump in the water, and if the bomb goes away, we're going to AGA, and I'm gonna feel real stupid in the interview. So I'm glad if it came to that, we both would have probably been doing the same thing and kicking ourselves.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Jet, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What made you go to Spike Cave? Because that probably was the difference in this race. That
No
you changed
kidding.
Your mind there.
I had no idea at the time. Honestly, I'm just like, I didn't think, Buane, that you checked Spike Cave yet. But what I was thinking is like, okay, I have a coin flip. I can do the last couple of hammer things I had left, which is like Skullwood. Well, that wasn't hammer, but hammer pegs, the thieves' chest. It's like 3 or 4 things, and I'm like, Spike Cave or Turtle Rock. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Turtle Rock, but as I'm walking there, I'm like, Spike Cave's right here. Just go check it. And so I'm like, I'll go check it real quick before I commit, and then it's even better than a coin flip if it's not there, that it's in Turtle Rock. And there it was. I'm like, cool, that worked.
There's not. I don't think it's that crazy of a play. I've definitely done Spike Cave missing only Ice Rod, and not like having it be the only thing besides T-Rock that I've got left. Because if you come out of T-Rock without finding the Ice Rod, Spike Cave is like a million miles away. You can't get to it, and you feel really awful. It's like, okay, I guess I'm writing that off, kind of thing. So it does make some sense. And in a seed like this, where I don't know if you had a great read how you were doing. I didn't have a good read. I was like, well, he could be having an even worse time, or he could be God routing. So I have no clue where I stand right now.
I'm waiting for you to dot done around like 1:30. I'm like, what the heck did I miss? This sucked.
I was hoping you would. I was like, maybe I just left the hammer in Spiral Cave, because I didn't do Spiral Cave while I was up there. I figured, wow, we've got all this Death Mountain. I can route in Hera after I do Death Mountain with the mirror, and then I've got the flipper stuff left. If it comes to it, I can go to Pod. So I'm like, yeah, Spiral Cave is gonna be really slow. It's really awkward to route it in when you're coming from the bottom. I'll skip it. So when I got to like hour 30, and I'm like, hopefully Hammer was just in Spiral Cave. Jet didn't skip it, and he's about to win, so I can stop playing this seed.
Was your early game awkward? There was only, I think, 3 bombs in Steve's hut, and there was like no money.
I didn't go to Kakariko for a really long time, actually. Okay. I liked how I did the early game. I save and quit after Lost Woods, got a 50-50 bomb outside Link's house, and went to Agina and the dam. So I got I got a sword early, which let me do escape. I still didn't have any bombs by the end of the front of escape, which I was like, this is unbelievable. So I actually just real quick did Old Man with the sword. Secrets break to Old Man to save and quit, but he got me the bow, which I was like, all right, Sahasrahla and Eastern, here I come. So I think after that I did South Shore and then Kakariko. So I went right from Kakariko into the Dark World and felt okay about how that kind of all played out.
That is pretty funny, because I did Kakariko, but I did the South Shore skip for like ages, and I ended up routing it in when I did an early swamp check with Hype Cave, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do all of this together because I had no compelling reason to go to do South Shore by itself. Yeah,
it's weird with really early mirror, some stuff starts lighting up. Like, man, if I can get Dark World access before I do this stuff, I can combo it with the stuff that's in Dark World too. So there's that early mirror kind of threw a wrinkle. Like, well, I don't have to go down here just yet. If it's going to be MIT's Dark World access, you kind of want to leave the South Shore because that's where you're going to route all the way through the Overworld. But man, how much more fun and interesting would this be if we had just like boots in Sanctuary Chest or something like that? Because there was a lot of... It's kind of the combo of like the worst, really, really late hammer and no boots.
It's
just so bad. It's so bad.
We got Buttersword and we got Silver, so there's that.
Yeah, we had some. We're kind of wondering if it was going to be required to go into pod there because Jet found Silvers first, and I was like thinking, is Wayne going to go in there? And then you went in there, and I was like, oh, I proved me wrong. But turns out you guys had to go back in there anyways. Was there ever any concern, perhaps, that it might be a pet seed at some point as you're going through these dungeons and you're still short 2 items?
Once I went to pod, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to clear pod 2 items. Then I'm going to go over the Skull Woods, check the 1 item I left, and I'm just going to pull ped while I'm there. Like, I was ready to just assume it was ped. I'm like, I'm going to pull ped unless Quake happens, and Quake happened.
Yeah, Helmet had 3 items for me because he had an item, he had the green pendant, and he had pedestal 4. So that was a pretty easy decision once I got down to the real fumes there after Pyramid Fairy. Well, I guess after Mushroom, after Pyramid Fairy. But yeah, so the pedestal was where I was headed, and I kind of said it's probably when Helma gave me Quake, I was like, it probably would have been way better if that had just been on the pedestal and not on Helma, because I've done Moth and I've done Landmo, and there's no guarantee that Jet's done either of them. So it felt okay that it was on Helma, but I kind of wanted, pedestal would have been a better line for me then at that point.
I mean, I was gonna just go do Skullwoods next, but yeah, I think because you did Skullwoods earlier, that would have given you an advantage there.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's one that I kind of wish I had back before. I did that right before I went to Ice Palace, and again, I wasn't really sure how to kind of order that stuff. It was all bad. Yeah. I don't know if that really was a good idea to have gone to Skullwoods right before Ice. I think I should have probably done Ice, but I can't really kick myself too much because again, it's like
going into Ice without Hammer, you're talking half the dungeon, and if you don't get a small key in the first couple chests, the routing just you're gonna orphan something. It's just horrible.
What it comes down to is like there's certain things that you got to be okay losing to in this game, and like Hammer in Ice is one of those. If you go really early Ice Palace to get the Hammer, like I'm not gonna beat that, and I'm not gonna feel bad about not being able to beat that. It's just and there's things like that when you play Rando. You're just like, okay, I'll lose to that. I don't really care. Oh, you went to Eastern Palace super early and got the bow. All right, I'll feel fine losing to that. And so
there was just so much we did before we even between getting Dark World access and getting that Hammer. It's just everything I was picking up was nothing. Like it was no progression at all.
Yeah, just one of those
nice the whole time.
Hopefully, we can get something a little bit better for game 2, technically game 2 tomorrow, and if we see a game 3/4, let's get back to those first ones, because I think we paid our dues, sitting through this one. Just some early boots. I don't even care. I don't even need the win. We don't have to play a third game here, but let's get some early boots so we can have some fun with what we're doing.
I will cheer for that on my end for you guys.
Doesn't even have to be early. How about just like sub 40 minutes? Okay. And first chest Hammer. Like playing another one of these tomorrow afternoon is not exactly how I'd like to go out of the tournament. Let's put it like that.
So, Buane, obligatory question. Do you know what settings change you're making for game 2, if at all?
Oh, I didn't even think about it. I'll probably just do Assured Sword. Sword Start, whatever it's called in this version.
That's a solid option.
Yeah, I don't love MC Shuffle. I've had some really wacky. I've played MC Shuffle a couple times in the tournament, and they just kind of feel like it adds something. I don't know if what it adds is good to the game. So, not MC Shuffle and Standard. I would love to do Standard if I could guarantee the sword there, but I don't really feel like doing like Cane of Burna Standard. So we'll just go with Assured Sword, and we'll probably both go to Escape right away anyway. So whatever.
Knowing us, it would be Cane of Burna for Standard.
No one wants to see that except literally everyone in chat for some reason.
So I will try to start bringing things to a close here since we haven't gone a little while. But you guys have anything else you want to add before we get wrapped?
No, just GG to Jet. He was in great position both of these games. He got a little unlucky in that first game, and took it home in this game. So it's been a great series already. We got 2 really fun games out of the way. We get a third game. That's cool. We could even get a fourth if they're this close. Whichever end of the ledger I end up on, it'll be fun. And this is why you play in the tournament. You hope to get pretty far. You hope to have a really good series against a really good opponent. So I got no complaints.
Yeah, GG, Wayne. Thank you guys for, of course, commentating our match and getting us the restream and our tracker too. Shout out to our tracker.
And I'll throw in there for schedule-wise for those of you watching who want to see, the other races of these two, who over the course of 2 races have about a minute and 45 seconds difference. Game 2/3 is going to be at 2:20 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on Speed Gaming 1. If it goes to, the 4th game / technical game 3, that'll be at 8:20 p.m. tomorrow night. And in the meantime, there are 2 other races going on tomorrow. 2:20 p.m., a second race is going on SG2. which is Goomba versus Yoshi, and 420 has P-Train versus Yagamoth.
Yes, indeed. So we've got some great matches tomorrow on the Speed Gaming family of networks here. So be sure to follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 5. I believe we're up to. So a lot of channels to follow, but if you follow a lot of them, you'll never miss a rando race that you don't want to.
I will toss and additionally give the two runners here a follow as well, Buane and Jet. They are both fantastic at this game. Buane is a very good vanilla runner too, especially in the all dungeons category, which I believe he currently has the world record in.
World record today, actually, yeah.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats.
Nice, congrats.
It's not going to last for that long. People are also coming for me, so we'll see how long it'll stay up there.
I didn't actually realize that was just today. I remember hearing it, but didn't realize it was literally, earlier.
Been trying for a while, so nice to hit it and be able to focus just on rando this weekend, right? Didn't pay off yet, but maybe tomorrow.
No, keep practicing. Speedrunning.
I can take a day off. It's okay. Don't worry.
So yeah, between the two of them, both very great at rando, both also very fun people to be around, very fun on their streams. So definitely drop them a follow. And as they mentioned, shoutouts to our tracker A0 as well. Did a very good job of keeping up on things throughout the game here for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Mentos, thanks. It's always a pleasure working with you. I always enjoy it.
Right back at you. It was good to have you for a partner on the first race. It's been a time I could commentate in weeks.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes when you're out of the tournament, if you want to stick around, you kind of have to commentate or do something else to find time to talk rando. But we're definitely glad to have you, anyways.
So yeah, with that, any final words from you?
Not really. It was a great race. Hopefully we'll get. If you really like this, hopefully at least game 3 or game 2, I guess you could say, will at least be as good. And if it's really good, we'll probably get a game 3 out of it as well. So hold on to your butts here. We could be at the start of a very long series, especially if we get a lot more ties. We could be talking about welcome back to game 370 between Buane and Jet. They tied again.
Yeah, we were talking about that after the first game. If we never lose, we both win the tournament, I guess, because we'll outlast everybody else who's waiting for it.
Please free us from this from limbo. Please help. Send help. I'm blinking twice. Send help. But yeah, of course, thanks Buane and Jet for hopping on in here for a post-game interview as well. And yeah, with that, remember, good night, good RNG, someone out there loves you and love you too, and I'm gonna hand off the Mentos to send us.
Farewell, everyone. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend, regardless of what time of day it is, what day it is. Hopefully the whole weekend is just great for you. Have a good night, day, however you may take it, and we'll see you next time.